We are going to showcase how you can have fun with junior chefs in the kitchen with Velata as well. Who doesn't love to make treats for every holiday? There's Easter, there's Valentine's Day, there's Thanksgiving, there's Canada Day, we just finished St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to showcase today how you guys can use Velata and create some of those amazing treats and easy recipes. So as you can see, I've kind of got a couple things on the go here. I do have a crock pot, and the reason I have a crock pot is we're going to make some popcorn balls in your crock pot. So we're going to make it very, very simple. I've got 3 tablespoons of butter here that I've measured out. So I'm going to add that to my crock pot. I'm also going to add 1 bag of marshmallows. You can use either white marshmallows or you can use the fruity ones. So we're going to add our bag of marshmallows in there. And we're going to add 2 bags of the vanilla Meltables. So these are our confectionery chocolate. I must say, I always forget this when I start my demo. So my name is Lynn. Sorry, I'm here with Velata. I'm a Velata independent consultant. And we are in row 200. We're just on the corner there. And these are some of our Velata products. So these are our confectionery chocolates. So these come currently in 3 different flavors. We have vanilla and milk chocolate are our regular flavors. And we do have some pumpkin pie still available. Those are well supplies last. And so these are your chocolates that will harden at room temperature. They're great for if you're making cake pops, chocolate covered strawberries, anything that you want to have set at room temperature. So any of these sort of confectionery chocolates. So I've got that all in there, and I'm just going to got my crock pot on high, and I'm just going to let that sit while we kind of do a couple of our other demos here today. So that's sitting there cooking. So who remembers the days of Easy Bake Ovens? Right? So Easy Bake Ovens, they were a little individual size oven, great for kids, hard to come by. All the recipes were, you had to buy them all individually, and it didn't take long to go through them like nobody's business, right? So this is kind of a new revolution with an Easy Bake Oven. So I'm going to showcase how you can make individual cakes in your microwave. Okay, so I've got cake mix here. I've got enough here for 1 individual cake. So I'm going to add my 1 egg. I've measured out my egg. I'm going to add my oil and my water just like you would with any other cake that you're creating. Measure these out so that it fits this individual portion. So we're going to mix this up, then we're going to stir it up, and then we're going to put it in one of the Velata warmer lids, or tops I mean. So Velata has fondue warmers. Our warmers are electric. They use power, and they plug in. You use like box or warming plate. They also have temperature control, so you can keep your chocolate and cheese at that perfect dipping temperature without worrying about it burning. So these are our dishes. They are silicone. They come with lids available as well. So I'm going to mix up my individual cake mix in here. Mix it up. You can use any kind of box cake mix that you would like. The only one that makes it a little bit more difficult is your angel food cake, just because those are a bit spinning. So I'm going to make up my cake mix. This is a Betty cake. This is the one with all the little colored sprinkles in it. So I've mixed that up. I'm then going to pour that into my lid, and I'm just going to pour it just so that it's to the point that it's just covering over that groove. So you can see there's a bit of a groove here in the lid, so I'm just going to cover it just so that it's just past that groove point. Because if you add too much, it's going to overflow in the microwave. So we're going to mix that up. Got it just past that point. Now, I'm going to take and put in my microwave. And I'm going to put it in there for 1 minute. Just on regular temperature. Put it in there for 1 minute. I can walk away and let it cook. That's only going to take 1 minute to make, and I will have a finished individual cake there. So, the other thing I'm going to showcase today I've got that done. We've got about 35 seconds left. So I'm also going to make these little nests here. So you guys might have seen these little nests over here. Great, cute little decorative idea for Easter. We're going to make those. while this is finishing cooking, I'm just going to mix up my butter and marshmallows and meltables. Those are all starting to melt together. About 5 seconds left. We're going to get our toothpick out. So you're going to check your cake just like you would any other cake. You want to make sure that your cake comes out clean. Toothpick comes out clean. So as you can see, we have an individual cake that only took 1 minute to make. I can take it, flip it over. Over and we have our individual cakes. So that's a great new way to, instead of the easy bake oven, you can take 1 minute, make individual cakes. It's great for a treat with kids in the evenings. Want something simple, something fun. You can have your icing decorated. We're just going to set that up here so you can see that speed. So with our meltables, you can dye them as well, and we will be adding some food coloring to the popcorn balls that we're making. And how you dye them is you have to buy the candy colors. And the reason you have to buy the candy colors is because this is a gel-based food color. If you buy a water-based food color or regular food coloring, it will actually cause your chocolate to seize. So your chocolate will go and you won't be able to work with it. So if you buy the candy coloring, it's actually safe to use in chocolates, and so you'll be able to use that without having any problems. My other cake done. It's got 7 seconds left on the microwave, and then we'll have another individual done cake. So there's another individually done cake. So now for doing these nests, I'm just going to use another bag of our meltables. You can use either the vanilla or the chocolate. You can warm them up right in the bag. So I'm going to put this in for 30 seconds to start melting them. The reason I need to melt that is because what these nests are is I'm going to take, I've got in here some chow mein noodles. And some coconut. So kind of the little ingredients that if you were to see a bird's nest, you would see very similar ideas to this there. My coconut in there. Meltables out, mix them up just like any chocolate. Once they start melting, it's really easy for them to continue melting. So I just want to mix it up really well, get them mixed up if they're melting, throw them back in for another 30 seconds. So for my egg nests here, I have a muffin tin. I'm going to take my muffin tin, and that's where I'm actually going to put these meltables into so it can set. Okay, so I've got my meltables in here. You can see they're melting. I can feel that they're melting. Still got a couple chunks in here though, so I'm going to throw it back in the microwave just for another 15 seconds. So with these cakes, I am going to have the meltables that I'll be making these egg nests with, but I'll also have some extra meltables. So I'm actually going to ice the cakes with the meltables. So this is fun because, like I said, you can dye your meltables any color you want. So that's where you can make it. Use the chocolate for the brown like I used for the nest there. If you want, you can come up and take a peek here. We actually have some chocolates, and how the chocolates were made is I just took a mold that I bought at Bulk Barn, and I melted my meltables in the bag or in the bowl, mixed them all up. Some I added food coloring, some I didn't. I added the food coloring, added the meltables to the mold, and then I put them in the freezer and let them set that way. So it's the same way that you would use any sort of confectionery chocolate or candy melts. So my chocolate's all melted here, so I'm going to pour some of that in with these chow mein noodles and coconut, because that's how I'm going to get them to stick together. This is I'm almost using it like an edible glue. That there. I'm also going to sprinkle some onto this cake here. Use as an icing. So I'm going to mix this up. I've got my chow mein noodles. I've also got my coconut in there, and now I've added my meltables. The nice thing about the meltables too is they set at room temperature. So by creating these candies and this eggness, I'm not actually having to refrigerate it. Just by leaving it in the tin and letting it harden at room temperature, I will be able to get the same effect than if I actually put it into a freezer or a fridge. A bit more of that meltables. Mix it in. Once I've got this to the consistency that I want and I see that I've got enough meltables in there to actually work with, then I'm going to scoop them into my muffin trays. I'm going to take that, push it in a little bit, get it kind of up around the corners so that I'm actually creating that nest. You can see that chocolate's already starting to harden. But that's okay, because that's exactly what I want it to do. Put that in there. I'm going to set this off to the side to harden. Now I've got my cake here that I pour my meltables over. I'm just going to spread my meltables over top. Again, it's like a glue. So you can decorate it. You can add some sprinkles if you want. You can add jelly beans, M&Ms, anything like that. This is also fun for like a kid's birthday party. Instead of making one big cake, you can do it as kind of like a craft idea for the kid's birthday party. So you have your cake mix mixed up. You have your fondue more top. The kids come, they can each make your own cake, they can decorate it, and you can use that instead of your birthday cake. It's your craft idea, and it's your birthday cake all in one. And it keeps those kids busy. It gives them something to be doing while they're doing it. So I'm just going to check over here on my marshmallows and my meltables, so they are starting to melt together. Oh, lost the marshmallow. I just want to keep that on high and keep that melting. So that's going to take a little bit longer. So while that's melting, I've also got my egg that's being made, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about our confectionaries here. So if you want, you can come up and take a little bit of a close-up. These are for you to try, and I'm just going to showcase how you can use them. So simple idea, these are the pretzel rods that you can buy at Michael's. Just either dye your meltables or you can use whatever color. Dip those, they're a great little sweet treat for a party. This is those little pretzels that I just did colored meltables in, and then I use either a toothpick with the coloring dye, or I also use the little markers over there, and you can create little animals. So I have a little chick there, I also have a bunny rabbit. These are those, the molds that I talked about. So this one I took, made yellow meltables, put it in the middle, let it harden, and then I added my pink on the outside. For this one I did the yellow, and then I added my sprinkles, and then I put my white and let it set over top. These cute, quick and easy little treats. So these are meltables that I dyed for this season. You could also do the different molds for the different seasons, but all they actually are is they are Rice Krispie treats that I then use cookie cutters and I cut them out and I dip them in Meltables chocolate. This is a similar version, a little bit of a different version of the popcorn balls that we're making. This just has the Meltables, so there's no marshmallows in there. But it's just popcorn, pretzels, M&Ms, put them in these cute little bags. If you've got kids that are in school, you know oftentimes you're asked to bring snacks to school for kids, or for Easter, they've got their Easter parties or their holiday parties. So that gives a great alternative to that. And then these are the little nests that we're making, but these are with the chocolate. That just gives you an idea of some of the products that we can make with our Meltables. Like I said, we have the 3 flavors available, and coming April 1st, we will have 2 new flavors coming. We don't know what they are yet. They haven't given us the actual flavors yet. So I'm just going to check here and see how my nests are doing. So there you go. You can see that this is hardened at that room temperature. I wasn't having to microwave or throw it in the freezer or the fridge at all. This one, my chocolate started hardening a little bit before I got it in my hands. So that's crumbling a little bit, but I can just push that back together and then pull together with that. So I have my little nests here. Then I just bought the little marshmallow heaps, the little chicks. Take one of those, set it in the middle of my nest that I got going on there. And then I've got little mini eggs that I'm going to add to create those little nest treats. You can also use jelly beans if you want as well. And here are my little eggs. There, I've created my little nest, all while using the Velata Meltables. So those just gives you an idea of some of the little treats and crafts that you can make. So I'm just going to show you here quickly. We do have 2 different size fondue warmers. So this is the dish of the type of warmer that I showed you for making the individual cakes. You can use the bigger dishes for this size dish for the bigger warmers. You can use this for your individual cakes as well. We'll just obviously make a bigger cake than the smaller one will. And those fondue warmers we do have available for purchase over at the booth today. So this is coming along nicely. Just about have it all melted. Unfortunately, due to electrical requirements, I had to turn it off while we use the microwave for fear of blowing a breaker. So it's going to take a little bit longer than expected, but as you can see, that's all starting to mix together. It's all starting to melt together. So I've got that melting. I'm going to add my popcorn now. So I've just bought a microwave popcorn. You can use kettle corn or you can use just the butter flavor. It's up to you which you want to use. There is no right or wrong one to be using. So while that's melting, I'm going to take and add my popcorn. The biggest thing with adding my popcorn though is I want to make sure that I'm not adding those extra kernels that do not pop. I want to make sure that those stay in the bag because there's nothing worse than eating your popcorn bottle and almost chipping a tooth because you found one of those unpopped kernels. Just going to add that in there. So once we've got this all made and the popcorn balls are all done up, you can also add mix-ins in there. So you can add Smarties or jelly beans or individual eggs, anything like that that you want to add. You can also add your sprinkles to it. If you want, when you're melting it, you can completely melt your butter and your marshmallows and your Meltables before you add the popcorn. So as you can see, I still have a few marshmallows here that haven't melted and I'm adding my popcorn. If you melt it all together first though, you can add your candy coloring to it and that's when you can make your colored popcorns. So you can color them for the season as well. I'm just going to start mixing this in. My marshmallows still have a ways to go though, so I'm gonna put a lid on that and let that sit. So we will have those, like I said, available to try, but I don't want to keep you guys sitting here just as we watch marshmallows melt. So if you want, you can come up, take some pictures, take a look, ask other questions that you'd like. I also encourage if you'd like to come up and grab the magnets that I have here. These magnets, not only do they have my contact information, but they have my Facebook page. So I love spending time in my kitchen. That's why I love Velata so much. We have everything from artisan rubs to chocolate to the cheese to the meltables. So we have all of that available, and I like to create new things with that. So my Facebook page is dedicated strictly to the recipes using all of our Velata products. So whether it's using our Velata products from the edible portion of it, or whether it's using our crate maker or showing the versatility of our wood cut, that is all there available. So for the actual watching portion, I apologize this is taking so long, but we will be serving the popcorn balls over at our booth because we'll just wrap them up over there. But I thank you guys for coming and seeing all the ideas for the holidays, and hopefully give you some ideas for spring and fun with the kids in the kitchen. So thank you for coming.